Hello, and welcome to Batman 2. That's half a joke. This executable is literally called Batman2.exe, and just classic Telltale quality choices there. Welcome back. I'm the social solipsist, if this is somehow your first video. This is a continuation of the previous series, which was Batman the Telltale series, a name which I still think is horrendous. The name of that executable was just Batman.exe, which I don't know. There's a bunch of jokes there. And this is Batman2.exe, but its actual name is Batman the Enemy Within, which is a decent name, but if you're gonna name your things, if this is the same series or even the same game, which it sort of seems like this was marketed to be a continuation as if it were one continuous game, it's a weird choice. Anyway, we should just get right back into this. We played the classic edition of the first one. We're going to play the classic edition of this as well. Maybe if by the end of this we feel really compelled, we'll go back through both in the Shadows edition, because that was the version that did the apparently did some asset remastering in addition to turning it like grayscale or black and white, which are not the same thing, but it's remapped the color mapping, I guess, in one way or another. I don't know how much of that was manual versus procedural, and then stitched the two games together, which was presumably the expected experience. I believe I read that the Shadows edition was a release that came out after Telltale had already gone defunct, and then the license was purchased by the new license holder who holds it now, whoever that is. I don't remember what corporation it is. I thought it was Deep Silver or one of their subsidiaries, like THQ Nordic or something, but it's not. It's somebody else. I looked it up a while ago. I don't remember what it is now, but it's not what I thought. Anyway, without further ado, I'm hoping that this audio level's pretty good. We'll see. Choose how to begin your story. Continuation of this. Oh, we'll continue it. I don't love the spoilers if you haven't watched the first one, but you should go do that. I don't love that Alfred lost his eye, but fuck it, why not? We'll continue this stupid. So you didn't actually want. All right, fine. Who did you save? We saved Selena, right? Yes. We chased down the penguin. We ran for the phone. We owed him a favor. Well, not his enemy. Was that even an option? Wow. Is this really the two choices? That's kind of wild. Some of the previous choices, I feel like I should go back and talk about these, actually. Let's talk about these. We might as well. Recreate. All right. So we saved Selena because we had already discussed that Harvey was basically on his road to becoming Two-Face. It seemed like a moot point to try and save him. One way or another, he was going to end up becoming Two-Face because this is a Telltale game, and it's a video game in general, especially a Telltale game where we know, I've played a lot of their games, usually these things don't end up mattering too much because they kind of can't, because you can't have two super divergent stories, because then you basically have to make two games, or more than two games even. So it was kind of like, he's gonna hate us, he's gonna become Two-Face either way, we might as well just let it happen to him. We were a little less callous about it than quite the way I put it there, but that was basically the gist of it. We spent the night with Selena. The game really on several occasions seemed to drive you towards that. Like, the way the two of them talk, even without your intervention, is very there is at least a serious level of admiration between the two, and there's a chemistry, I would say, as much as chemistry can exist in a Telltale game. I think it was pretty clear that the flirting was not like, this is in comparison to like the traditional Catwoman, who's always very inherently flirty, and it's part of her kit basically as a villain, to basically play off unsuspecting men. But there was clearly in this scene, to me at least, to my reading, an admiration that felt earnest. So it seemed natural. Also, ultimately, didn't fucking matter, because we found out in the following scene that no matter what you do, Harvey shows up the next day and freaks the fuck out. No matter, even if you pass the fake QTE, because it is fake, he still sees you. And so it wouldn't have mattered if we slept together or not, because he would still have assumed it, and it would still have played out the same way. This one was a little bit more complicated. My assumption was at this point, like, okay, we need to stop the hacking of the technology. That's a more higher priority, and like the state of Wayne Manor is kind of secondary. Like, even if Wayne Manor burns to the ground or is seriously damaged, that the main thing that matters is the Batcave and all that, and Alfred and Lucius seem to have that under control under the circumstances. So taking out Penguin and, dealing with all that seemed fine. This is, I don't actually know how, well, obviously I don't know how the alternates play out on a lot of this. I don't know, I mean, you still end up later going to the manor and chasing off Two-Face, having a confrontation with Harvey. So I don't actually remember how much time it was between those two events, because it was later. We definitely never did this. Technically, I don't remember grabbing Penguin by the throat either. What a weird sequence of events, though. He's like, oh, I got these big fists now, I'm super cool. Didn't make any sense. A lot of the whole, I talked about it in the previous game, the whole sequence, the whole game really doesn't make a lot of sense narratively, at least from a like literary trying to tell a story perspective, because it does not give adequate build-up and payoff for really any of the characters, especially the villains. And when the villains are supposed to be the focus of a Batman story, more or less, or a serious portion of it, not having them built up and then having them just be weirdos that you beat up at some point is lame, frankly. I guess I realized that I could intervene, but like it just seemed like not a good idea to, like, John Doe had a plan, Joker had a plan. Whether or not it was a good plan or not remains to be seen. I don't know how it would have played out, but I don't think fist fighting Zsasz would have been great. And ultimately, I'm sure it didn't really matter. I said, yeah, we'll owe him a favor, because, like, our version of Batman doesn't really know who this guy is. He doesn't know his history. And I talked about it at this chunk of the game, that this is probably the most interesting series of interactions that Batman has in the entire game, and one of the most interesting twists I've seen on the narrative between Batman and Joker. Batman's still rather an enigma, even after all the choices I made in that first game. I complained repeatedly, or critiqued, I should say, about how our Batman does not have a lot of definition. It's hard to even gauge how long he's been Batman, or what his attitude towards his role as these two different representatives of Gotham really is like. But this version of Joker is really interesting, because he appears to have never been a villain before in this timeline. So it's much more interesting because he proceeds to reveal himself to be at least very knowledgeable of what's going on. And to paint him in the way that this is like chapter 4, I think, 4 out of 5. The way they paint him at that point as being this sort of mastermind with no inherent plan but with a great amount of knowledge is a really interesting twist that totally falls in line with versions of Batman that have existed before. But the idea that of a Joker that's only ever been sort of inside Arkham during his adult life, however, like they never establish, I think, how long he's been in there, but clearly it's been a while. He never seems to have been a villain or even like a criminal outside before. And so the idea that he's instead a guy who's a little bit weird and people don't really know how to handle him, so they just lock him up in Arkham because that's what a lot of societies do to people that they don't understand and don't know how to treat. The idea that he's instead been in here doing nothing but like sort of honing his social skills and also being a very acute observer of both human behavior and bizarre examples of human behavior. You know, he knows how to play everybody. He knows how to, like, you know, play at everybody's weaknesses and get their respect when he needs it and those sorts of things. He knows how to trigger Zaz and all these other things, while also being the guy who's constantly watching TV and absorbing the outside world, and is possibly the most knowledgeable other person other than Batman. Well, Batman and his short list of friends, in all of Gotham. Like, he knows about I'm forgetting her name again, the woman who became Lady Arkham. He knows about her probably before Batman and his crew ever do, and knows more about her. He knows that she's a descendant of the Arkham family, and has had her name changed and all these other things. And that makes him a really compelling and interesting character, and he really doesn't get that much time. Now, I get the impression that this game has a lot more of him, so we'll see. But all of that to say that owing him a favor seemed like the most interesting choice, for sure. The idea that he seems to mostly be somebody who's willing and interested in helping Bruce. Bruce is like in a bad mood for this whole segment, kind of understandably, but he's also, a little bit needlessly dickish at some points. And so the idea of he's like so exasperated that he's just like, sure, whatever, man, a favor. I owe people favors all the time. I'm Bruce Wayne. Everybody wants some fucking favor from me because I'm the richest man in Gotham. That seemed like the most logical choice internally speaking, and the most interesting choice from a gameplay perspective. So that's what I went with. I see no reason why this would play out as enemies unless you played. I don't even know if it's possible. I don't think it's possible to play this out in a way where it makes sense for them to be enemies at the end, at least to my logic. If you have to have continual run-ins with Selina, with Catwoman, throughout the game, which you do, they are required, and to the point of, at a minimum, you have to get dragged back. I don't think there's any option anywhere in the game to not, at the minimum, be dragged back to her apartment to get patched up and sleep there. Not necessarily in her bed or whatever, but like, at the very least, you have to be chummy enough to be willing to sleep under her roof. So the idea that suddenly their agreement, their understanding between each other, there's sort of like tense peace that they have, even though they are like in some ways very similar and in other ways diametrically opposed philosophically, it doesn't make sense to me that Bruce would suddenly become enemies in any respect with her. Like, even if he's not emotionally attached to her, there's at least a distance and respect for the way that she's helped him prior. And so the idea that she would steal the skeleton key or whatever, and he would suddenly be like, oh, you're an evil villain, blah, 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 you're an enemy, or whatever he does, doesn't make any sense to me. That would be bizarre. So it's interesting. This actually kind of confirms a question I had at the end of in the last episode, I think, which was, are there 3 endings to that scene? And it seems like there aren't. I was like, okay, this seems like the friendly ending that might be the default choice if you don't romance her. But it turns out, or it seems to be, that there are in fact no unique responses in that scene, dependent on whether or not you romanced her. There might be 1 or 2 like throwaway lines, but it doesn't affect it doesn't have a serious narrative effect. You can't. I think at some point it actually did give me the option to say like I love you or something like that, and I think it was a throwaway line. Support Selena didn't make demands of her, and she gave you her friendship. Yeah, I guess that's weird. When Lady Arkham threatened Alfred, you reveal your identity to protect him. Well, so that's I actually don't remember which one I ended up going with. So Alfred lost his eye, and I tried this both ways, and then I accidentally got locked into the one where he lost his eye, which I think was the... You know, the reason why this is confusing is that it seems like... Okay, I'm pretty sure if you don't reveal your identity, the game then punishes you by removing his eye. I think. I don't actually remember because it's been like a month now since I played the last episode. And the reason it's hard to remember is that none of this scene particularly makes sense, and this particular interaction is also very strange. It's kind of a shitty ending. It's a shitty ending for Lady Arkham. It's a shitty ending for the narrative in general. It doesn't resolve a lot other than just killing her by her being crushed to death. It's just bizarre. So I think, if I recall correctly, if you do not reveal your identity, you move to attack her, and by that, it actually means you throw a batarang at his restraints, so he breaks his arms free and punches her, and she blows out his eye to punish, as a result. And that's the reason why I'm having a hard time remembering, is because, narratively speaking, I think the opposite way is if you reveal your identity, she's so shocked that you can kind of get the drop on her. But it kind of doesn't make sense to me that way when it played out, and now thinking back on it, because she shouldn't be surprised at your identity. Or at least not to the level of being like stunned to inaction. I'm gonna say I did reveal my identity, because I actually am really annoyed at him lose. Well, do I want to do that? I really did want to roll back and do it the other way, because I didn't like that he lost his eye. But those scenes at the end where he had lost his eye were so terrible, I almost have a morbid curiosity to continue on, so it can continue to show me shitty scenes where he's where he's like bumbling around and being pathetic, because that's apparently the narrative they want to tell when he loses his eye. I think I'm not gonna do that though. I think I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna switch it back to did reveal the identity. Yeah, there it specifies. She takes off part of your ear. She takes out Alfred's eye. Because I think it would be more interesting if we do go back to the game and replay the first chunk to play a more aggressive, slightly villainous, slightly, you know, unforgiving Batman who is an asshole and doesn't reveal himself. Because most of the rest of my playthrough, I played like the most, like, kind-hearted, forgiving, non-violent Batman. So I think it would be inconsistent to have it be the one where he loses his eye. That's the selfish Batman. So let's go with this. After Lady Arkham was defeated, you attend Gordon's press conference with Batman or Bruce Wayne. I went with Batman because, what was the reason? I really didn't like this decision. I thought it was really crappy. Yeah, I mean, nobody really, at this point, nobody really wants to see Bruce that much still, to my logic. Like, it's been a little bit of time, but it's still, it's more in keeping with the version of Batman and Bruce that I play, that he's not as much flexing his clout as a socialite and businessman. He's more flexing himself as, well, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I went with Batman, so we're gonna keep it that way. But address the crowd as Bruce Wayne and narrowly escaped and said, "Oh, so they try and kill me instead if I do it that way." Interesting. I wonder if it's the same van. Huh. I thought maybe I just stood up there. I think I speculated that I would stand up there as Bruce and like push him out of the way at the right moment or something like that instead. But all right, backstory complete. Hopefully that recap was interesting both to those who did and didn't watch the first one. But let's. Oh, interesting. I actually didn't anticipate Riddler being the first one to show up. Huh. Episode 1, The Enigma. One of Gotham's oldest and deadliest criminals has returned. Batman must work with allies old and new to stop this growing threat. This seems like a completely new narrative. That's odd. Alright. Also, why is the music crunchy? It sounds super compressed and like almost clipping. I think I went with red before. I don't... Why did that sound like a double click? Classic Telltale jank. Welcome to Telltale, where they tell you this at the beginning of every game and it kind of doesn't matter. It's kind of not true.
Night, my parents gave their lives for me. They became my heroes.
I hope this is loud enough.
Their legacy untouchable. Until I learned the truth. My father, Thomas Wayne, was a criminal. He ruled over
Where are
Gotham
my
from the shadows,
subtitles?
and everything I thought I knew about myself
Fix it later.
changed forever. The children of Arkham exposed the truth about my father to Gotham. Their attack turned friends into enemies and threw the city into chaos. I was committed to Arkham Asylum, where I escaped with the help of a mental patient named John Doe. After a bloody battle, I put an end to it all in the catacombs beneath the city. The Penguin, Two-Face, and Lady Arkham were the first real challenge I faced as the Batman.
What?
They would not be the last.
Wait, are they huh?
Spring has arrived in Gotham, and
hold on. Are you telling me that the beginning, this is Batman's origin story? That last game was in fact supposed to be, I swear I fixed this. That prior to that, Batman has no supervillain experience? He said the first whatever it was that I faced as Batman, right? I didn't mishear that? And that's despite the fact that they just said in the intro caption that one of his oldest villains is returning, right? We'll see. We'll see how inconsistent this is.
With it comes City Hall's quarterly crime report. Crime is way down since the fall of the Children of Arkham, marking another triumph for newly minted police
Okay,
commissioner
but the same thing I asked at the end of the
Gordon.
last game.
In a
Who's
statement
mayor?
This morning, Gordon credited his success to the public partnership between the police and the Batman. He praised the mysterious vigilante for his sacrifice, describing him as essential to the security of the city.
Well, that
Things
sounds
are looking
bad.
up, citizens. After the long, dark winter comes the thaw. Now, if only the Knights could win again, everyone would be happy.
Lucky 13! There it is.
Rumi Mori, import-export magnate, one-time Pipex CEO, international arms dealer. The world sees Mori as a legitimate businessman,
Wow,
a
there's
philanthropist
more
who gives
random-
to charity, not a criminal getting rich off the suffering of innocence.
There's more random people in this room than there were at every single press conference in the first game. This game already looks dramatically better to my eye. We'll see if that continues, but everything seems to be rendered much better.
A masterful performance. I wonder if a man hides in plain sight for that long.
Oh, they completely
forget who he
redid
really is.
his model.
What do you think, Master Bruce?
They
Must be
redid-
hard to stay true to your.
They redid Bruce as well. Do they change engines between these games? Is that why it's different? Huh. Hard to stay true to yourself. Okay,
Self.
We all wear masks in public. Every day is 1,000 little performances.
Perhaps.
yeah, the facial
But some are
mapping
more
is much better, but
encompassing
so
than
is
others.
the...
Masks are hard to maintain.
Oh, that
If there
glass
are cracks
doesn't
in
look great.
Mori's, we'll
the
find
hand
them.
doesn't either.
The
What the hell are
GCPD
those?
already bugged his penthouse and found nothing. Meaning that if he's doing arms deals in Gotham,
They happen on the casino floor. I need to find a way to hear what Mori is saying.
standing by for support. Look for something with a microphone. The Bat.
Hotel security are guarding him particularly close.
A man like Mori counts more enemies than friends.
I wonder why that is.
This also is rendering much smoother than the previous game so far. So that's interesting. And I haven't even switched to new hardware. Alright.
Consumer model. Could be a good way to hear Mori's conversation.
That seems like the obvious option, but
He
let's look.
certainly enjoys the good life, doesn't he?
Made a fortune running guns during the Arab Spring. Diversified into biotech shortly after. From what I understand, he's not one for pinching pennies.
Well, looks like roulette is his Achilles heel.
He has a reputation for being lucky, but then you don't need luck when you own the house.
Well, alright. Time to do the
Al,
one
I'm hacking
obvious
into
thing.
Mori's phone.
Encrypting your signal. Last thing we want is for him to know you're here. We're in. You should be able to pick up audio from Mori's
You made the phone
Is
light up and
everyone enjoying
vibrate? That's
themselves?
terrible.
Don't worry. I won't tell anyone with a badge.
He's on a roll. It's only a matter of time before he gets too chatty.
Try to blend in.
You're Bruce fucking Wayne. Don't you think it's rather conspicuous to be present at all?
So, I've been sitting over there wondering, what's Bruce Wayne doing in a place like this? I figured you
Oh,
went to
I'm missing the
fancier
part of my
casinos.
ear there. That's interesting.
Someplace where only high rollers go.
I'm looking for something different. New thrills.
Well, it's a good thing you're here. And it's a good thing I'm here.
You? What in the hell are you doing here?
Stop me if you've heard this one before. I begin and have no end. And I end all that begins. Who am I?
I don't give a damn. I told you 10 times. Our arrangement is over.
Death, Mori. I am death.
Something's happening, and it doesn't look like a deal.
Really inconspicuous
Man in
there,
the hood.
Bruce.
I remember him from your father's time. I think that's Riddler.
Bro, how did you get
Is something
random?
wrong? You seem distracted. Bruce.
You think your gibberish intimidates me?
Hello?
That's him.
How about we go back to my place?
Oh,
I'll call my
That's
driver.
not what I
Meet
said.
me outside.
well, since you put it like that. I never do this, you know.
You know, me neither.
What? Hey, does she not notice what's going on in the room? Some guy making a scene? I don't know. Like, even if she doesn't see the guy with the gun, maybe the guy menacing the owner.
Threatens me in my own casino. Security!
Sir, it's time to leave.
For you? An easy one. What question can you never answer yes to?
I don't give a crap. Let's go.
Wrong. The correct answer is, are you dead?
Yeah, I thought he was going to do that to Mori, but I guess Mori has to survive so he can be a
Let's get started.
guy like that. You really just had the straight up front door. The front doors are just open like
Get
that?
out of there. Get your
This is a terribly secured casino.
Al, let Gordon know what's happening.
right away.
Hey, no one leaves.
All of these prompts have been redone as well, which is interesting. They really did not carry much of anything over from the first game. At least from like a asset standpoint.
Commissioner Gordon on the line.
There's little
Audio
hitches in the
now.
animations, but
Gordon.
otherwise it looks much better.
What's the status?
Well, and then I'm staring at the ground, which has really poor texturing. As if to embarrass me for saying what I said.
Multiple gunmen, hostages at the casino.
Buddy, do you think you should maybe
madman in a
have
mask.
the...
Riddler's back in Gotham.
Riddler.
Well,
hasn't
he
been
even
seen in
redid...
years.
Even his mustache
he's
is a
putting on
different
quite a
style. Do you think you should have the the Batmobile? God, how can I forget the name of the Batmobile? Do you think you should have the Batmobile in incognito mode when it pulls up to Bruce Wayne?
There's a squad on the way. They'll be there shortly.
Be ready for a fight.
Please, please, we can make the deal. Anything you want.
Uh-huh.
Our issues can't be solved with handshakes, Maury.
This is what happens when you back out of a deal with me.
There's only one way you're getting out of this alive. You have to solve a riddle. And I choose my words carefully if I were you. Listen closely.
No, please, don't do this.
Without fingers, I point. Without arms, I strike. Without feet, I run. Who am I?
I've got visual.
That drone fully functional.
Without fingers, I point. Without... What was the middle one? I don't remember. Without feet, I run. I don't know.
Please to drop in without
I
being
missed
noticed.
I missed the middle bit.
Time for some recon.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? A mind bender that...
Death chamber.
Some kind of torture device.
Doesn't seem like he's getting out until he guesses the riddle.
This Riddler certainly has an imagination.
Why does Batman know about the Riddler, and why is he from his why is it from
Cashier's booth.
Thomas
That'll
Wayne's
do.
time?
Just need to take out the guard first.
Remember, choose your words.
Riddler's taken hostages, casino patrons, innocent bystanders.
They're clearly not his main target. Must be an insurance policy.
Why did he move some of the hostages into the cashier's booth, but leave some of them out? Is this all there is to it? Just
Riddler.
A terror from the past. I never thought I'd see him on our streets again. He's not to be taken lightly.
I mean, he just straight up ripped out a guy's throat in broad daylight. Well, broad evening light. But yeah, I mean, that kind of went without saying.
Audio playback fully functional.
Time for a distraction.
How is nobody noticing the fucking... Does it really need to be right behind him like that? Feels kind of conspicuous. How the fuck did Batman get over there so quick?
I'm losing patience, Maury. Are you expecting a hint? Give me an answer!
Why is there a prompt over there?
Batman, we can't get in. The front's covered by gunmen, and they've got the back barricaded with blackjack tables.
How should I deploy when we're inside?
I'm relying on your eyes and ears. What's the best course of action?
Neither of these. These are both terrible options. The frontal assault's going to get a lot of GCPD shot. I mean, that always happens anyway because the GCPD suck at their jobs. The tear gas is going to... You don't have smoke or something that's not fucking tear gas? Fucking tear gas, I guess.
Find a way to limit their line of sight.
Sounds like a plan.
Wait. Tear gas isn't for limiting line of sight. What do you mean smoke? Do you not know what tear gas is?
You're completely insane.
I don't know, man. Think about the riddle.
I believe that's it.
Oh, that's pretty grotesque.
I'll clear a path. Wait for my signal.
Give him hell. We're counting on you.
Well, I didn't expect this. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Smoking sign. What was the prompt? Was I just supposed to right click? I thought it was going to be one of the ones where the circle shows up and I need to aim it. Was it just the right click? I guess. That icon is really bad. That's very silly.
Batman! You're ahead of schedule. I'm a little busy right now, but I'll see if I can fit you in. Not him, the hostage! Shoot the hostage!
Anchored the gun. I'm not gonna yank on a person. It's a good way to break someone's hit all the targets in any... Okay, that prompt is so bad. It's way too small. Hold on. I'm actually very curious. What happens here? I'm gonna switch to my controller real quick.
Hiya, bats.
The Batman
I just missed
clearly
it,
isn't
but,
using his head. Break it open.
With pleasure.
Oh, it saved anyway, even though I missed the prompt. Is it not taking my controller inputs? It's just ignoring my inputs. Interesting. Alright. And I don't appear to be building any meter like the first game. I did complain how the first game had a meter system that didn't make any sense. Also, those were arrows, but what it should have said was A and D. That's probably him.
I've heard stories in the
He
streets
broke his
about
cervical
you,
spine there.
Batman. You're the biggest name in Gotham
Or
since...
lumbar spine? Lumbar spine.
Wow. Since I left town.
Well, my controller doesn't work. Which is
Everyone's
fascinating.
very impressed with you. I'm not
Bro,
impressed.
could you make them... If you're going to increase... Look at how good the hook is rendered with the lights shining on it. But you rendered that man's fingers, which are an important plot point, like fucking sausages full of blood packets. What the hell?
Gotham's criminals have become zealots and thugs in cheap suits. And you...
How did you
I've come home to find a wannabe in my chair.
How did you
Eating
let the
my
Riddler get the
goddamn
drop on you like
porridge.
this?
This is my city. Now I'm back, and I'm taking what's mine.
You don't know me, Riddler. You have no idea what you're up against.
You must think you're so special. You're not the first hero I've put down.
I don't know of any canon
You're
where
supposedly
Riddler
the
has
world's
another...
greatest detective. Yet here you are,
Gordon,
completely
now.
at my...
Oh, I didn't know it was just... Okay, well, that was very conspicuous of just him
You have to
reaching
be
down.
kidding.
Reaching down and saying... I actually kind of... I just want to... Oh, it happens anyway.
Not smart enough.
Alright, well... I kind of want to fail this. It doesn't matter?
Let me show you how it was
I'm
done
just not doing any inputs and I'm still winning.
back in the day.
I'm not touching it. It's just playing out on its own. Oh, cool. Alright, it finally mattered. These games fascinate me. The last one, the Batman one in particular, because so much of that game is just lying to you. It's one of the lesser Telltale games to my view.
I've heard stories.
Let's try
in
this
the
again.
streets
I
about
want
you,
to. I want to see what happens if I
You're the
wait a little
biggest name
longer
in
before I
Gotham
call
since-
Gordon, because he was still monologuing.
Wow. Since I left town.
Everyone's very impressed with you.
All right, Mr.
I'm not
Sausages.
impressed. Gotham's criminals have become zealots and thugs in cheap suits. And you, I've come home to find a wannabe in my chair. Eating my goddamn porridge. This is my city.
Now I'm back, and I'm taking what's mine.
You don't know me, Riddler. You have no idea what you're up against.
You must think you're so special.
Also,
You're not the first hero.
wouldn't you think
I've
that
put
Batman's
down.
cowl and neck armor and all that would
You're
prevent him
supposedly
his
the
neck
world's
being
greatest
gouged out like that?
detective. Yet here you are, completely at my mercy. I don't see much evidence of that. I expected more of a battle from you, Batman. Something longer. More of a match of wits. While my men mop up what passes for law enforcement in this town. It would have been a little hard to deal with you both at the same time. But no cause to hold back now. You surprised me a little with how quickly you arrived. But just a little.
Oh, he just... okay, interesting. If I let him monologue all the way through, there's not even like a new prompt. All right. We'll do
I've heard
it. We'll do it
stories in
this
the
time.
streets about you, Batman. You're the biggest name in Gotham since...
Well, since I left town.
Very curious what the history
Everyone's
is there. If
very
they're
impressed with
alleging
you.
that he was around as a supervillain before. Who dealt with him before?
I'm not
And who was the
impressed.
heroes?
Gotham's
Who are the
criminals have
heroes,
become
air quotes,
zealots
that he
and
put down
thugs in
before?
cheap suits. And you, I've come home to find a wannabe in my chair. Eating my goddamn porridge.
You don't know me, Riddler. You have no idea what you're up against.
You must think you're so special. You're not the first hero I've put down.
I'm no Batman expert.
You're
I just don't know of
supposedly the
any
world's
other narrative
greatest
where that's
detective.
true.
Oh, you have to be kidding. Clever.
Does this play out any
not
differently
smart
now
enough.
that I'm actually hitting the buttons? Doesn't seem
Let me
like
show
it.
you how it was done.
It's just whether or not I
Back
was
in the day.
successfully hit the things. Gordon, my friend, you are a police officer who has a gun.
Common street hurt.
Did you really bum rush in with your fucking fists? Who are you, Batman? It's actually way funnier if he just gets his head lopped off. But I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Follow the power lines. There must be a weak point.
What do you want me to click on him? What? Hold on, I just wanna...
No!
It chops off his head and then that guy just puts a shotgun to the back of mine. Wow! That does not hold back. Jeez, Petey, you're so fucking useless.
Brawling like a common street hood. It just doesn't do it for me.
He just then runs off? Like, what? I don't know, fuck this guy. Like, also, how does that fucking grappling hook
Follow
work,
the
man?
power lines. There must be a weak point.
I don't know if slicing it is necessarily the best first call, but... Alright. I guess this is all so we can have a chase in a place that nobody else can reach. Why does that... What? You guys saw that mouse prompt, right? Why is that a different mouse, differently shaped mouse than the prompt I had for the right click? And why are both of them so small and kind of slightly illegible? What happened to having super simple... Like, I know people want to put their own style on things, but when it comes to QTs and like quick button presses and stuff like that, your prompts need to be very legible. God.
You broke the cage.
Why is it different?
That's cheating.
Think I care about your rules?
I'd heard you were a man who followed a code. Why would you save that dirtbag's life? Maury made his money running guns, trading off the suffering of war. Why wouldn't you just let him die? Tight-lipped or empty-headed? How about I crack your
A bit of
skull
both,
open and
actually.
find
I don't
out?
really have a good reason for having saved him. I didn't really want to. But, I don't know. Batman's allegedly the good guy who saves everybody who's being, you know, hurt by villains, so I guess that's all that matters. It's enough of a reason for Batman. It's always been one of the problems with Batman, and really a lot of superheroes actually, is just that the idea of there being a moral superiority when you end up protecting people who are like, I don't know, not that heroes should necessarily be in the habit of deciding who lives and dies, but like if they're willing to... Where were your explosives that you would just do that? Not that, you know, heroes should be in the practice when they're supposed to be good guys all the time of, or at least not particularly morally gray, of deciding who survives and doesn't. But, you know, there's the natural course of things where you have to make decisions between A and B and which is the lesser of two evils. And also just, you know, that leads to a more interesting narrative, I think, if you have a hero make a morally dubious choice, but that was like, you know, the equivalent of pulling the lever or not pulling the lever on, well, yeah, well, taking the active choice on the trolley problem type of thing, because they've assessed it to be the better choice, not necessarily because it's totally utilitarian. Completely utilitarian heroes tend to be, or who assess threats based on utilitarian principles tend to be the most boring, because you don't get a lot of like moral conundrum with them. They're just they just make the completely logical and boring choice.
That, but it's not enough. Let's see how you do with something a little more cerebral. Better hurry, detective. Solve my puzzle soon, or people are gonna get hurt. And we know you can't let that happen.
It's kind of silly how much of this he had planned out, but that's, you know, normal. What the fuck? I'm just supposed to tap all of them? Okay. Wait, see, and now it's left click that's using the original same thing. Those hooks really are very tiny. I'm not believing those are holding shit. Hey, Riot Squad, do any of you have body armor?
You should have called us before going in, Gordon.
Waller?
Is that? Oh,
After
it is
all,
Amanda
we're
Waller.
here
All
to
right, interesting. Not somebody I expected to show up in this game at all either. This logo with no music is hilarious. Okay, we're gonna take a pause there because I need a little break. That was a lot. What an interesting start to the game. Not a fantastic one, but at least more engaging than the previous one. Interesting to see how much they've added or changed or completely redone. And we'll see how everybody reacts to this situation next time.